First of all, Xavi, thank you very much for being here with us. I guess we can start with a little bit of an introduction.
Thank you very much, Gustavo. Thanks for inviting me here. So my name is Xavi Esplugas. I am the Senior Vice President for Digitalization of the GBS at Deutsche Post DHL. Been in DHL for the last 12 years, and I guess DHL requires little introduction. We are the largest logistics and network parcel company in the world. We provide millions of letters every day in Germany, and we also deliver millions of parcels to our customers. Aside of that, of course, we run a significant supply chain business, providing warehousing and transport operations for many big and medium-sized businesses.
So how big is the company then?
Well, we basically, I mean, looking into last year's figures, we are 550,000 employees. We operate in more than 220 countries. I think it was 67 billion euros, our revenue last year.
And what about the division where you operate? How large is the GBS division?
The Global Business Services is roughly 11,000 employees, and we of course kind of like integrate all the central services. So we have got finance operations, HR operations, procurement, real estate, fleet, consulting, and mobility, and others units. Of course, our motto is the shared service centers and finding synergies towards the business divisions that we provide services on.
So the GBS division on itself is already a large organization.
It is actually. It's actually larger than some of our competitors in that manpower. Indeed, it is.
Good. Thank you very much. Xavi, if you can please tell us how did the automation project started at such a large organization? Where are the origins of the automation initiative, and what were the main business drivers, business objectives that you had in mind?
Sure. You know, I think that it was back in 2016, 2017, where let's say inside the finance operations, there was a team that was started working with RPAs, and we clearly saw the benefits of automations coming from the RPAs arena. And yet we, of course, could provide certain automations in a very specific niche areas or specific applications. But then the question was open to say, okay, is there a way to automate more end-to-end processes? Is there a way where actually processes that also span across different systems we can find those automations, and then we basically run a series of proof of concepts and definitely decided to endeavor on a big transformation program using as well, in this case, Bizagi. Where did we start? Mainly was, of course, you know, you start where the money is and you start where efficiencies can be gained. So definitely that would keep our CEO happy, but also our CFO happy, as we also, let's say, invested on a central team. We put together a program that lasts for 4 years and actually brings digitalization to our, I would say, 4 major service lines, being finance operations, HR operations, real estate, and procurement. And on that one, of course, we then started unfolding projects on those 4 areas where, let's say, wherever we could see an opportunity.
Okay. And what were the main considerations when you were going to deploy this? I guess you have a very sophisticated IT landscape. The nature of DHL is very mobile. So what were the key aspects of that deployment?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, first, I mean, from a company perspective, we do have an ethos which is mobile first. We are essentially a physical company, moving things in the physical world, and most of our users are not behind a computer on a room. So having people in the field, having that mobile first is definitely the right mindset. when it comes to the landscape, I remember once talking to a consultant, and he was basically just kind of like doing a bit of a check, saying, do you have the system? Yes. Do you have the system? Yes. Do you have the system? Yes. I actually said to the person, so, you know, it's like we are so large and we have so many systems, perhaps would actually be better if you would just start asking me which systems we don't have, because definitely Deutsche Post DHL also is the result of as a significant number of mergers and acquisitions in different areas, and we have been integrating, let's say, different company cultures and different IT landscape, but still there is, of course, work to be performed on those senses.
And the deployment of this process is happening on a global scale then?
I would say, yeah, we do have, of course, a lot of focus in Germany because our main operations and central, let's say, central hubs are in Germany. But from a company perspective, and as I was mentioning before, we do have we operate in 220 countries. So also that creates a very significant challenge when it comes to the IT products, because some transaction might be initiated in China, where you actually have got all the Chinese characters when it comes kind of like to the screen. It might be then consolidated and discussed in a specific center that we might have in Malaysia, where also we want to offer local language in terms of interpretation, and it might end up, of course, using in this case Latin characters back into a process back in Europe. So that's where definitely that multi-language support is also key for a company which is as international as we are.
And what about volumes, Xavi? I mean, what are the volumes we're talking here about?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, transaction-wise, we are definitely in the areas of tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands. That's definitely the kind of like the average process that we have to handle. When it comes to the users, I would say largest deployment we have is a very automated, I would say, help desk for our procurement users. I think currently we're roughly 280,000 employees are actually accessing this. And despite, of course, having, let's say, products already existing in the market that can offer some sort of like an IT service management type of help desk, when you bring a help desk into an organization that is not so much IT oriented, and like it's, for example, in the case of procurement, I think this is where we did evaluate whether we are going to just adapt something from the market, or whether we're going to build something using technologies like Bizagi and a few others. And the final decision was definitely to go with we will build that ourselves.
Okay, very interesting. Can you please share with us a little bit the team behind this initiative? What are the different profiles, the different roles that you have within the team?
Sure. The digitalization at GBS team is composed around 60 individuals. Let's say that mainly are, I would say, scheduled in three different areas. On one side, you would have, of course, the project and program managers. They are responsible of, let's say, the project execution, as any other projects that would actually be run in any other company. Then the second team, we call them automation process analysts, also known as ABBYYs. The ABBYYs are, it's a very interesting role. It's very difficult also to find in the market. And when people is applying to this role, there is a lot of questions that are being raised, because you need a very specific mix-up of process design type of knowledge, but also you want to have some business capabilities and kind of like some logistic background. But then you need to have some technical insights, but not to be a technical expert. And I think that is kind of like the kind of role that we're going to be seeing more and more happening and happening in the industry as potentially one of the upcoming roles. I think also into the head of, you know, in the lines of citizen development, where you have got somebody who has certain feeling about how a certain process needs to be run, but is not a deep dive developer coder that can actually code that. And I think on that one, those roles are key for us, because they are the ones who translate the pure business into the actual IT artifacts. And of course, they are serving as that bridge there, as I mentioned, those automation process analysts. And then last but not least, then we have got automation developers, as we have got both, we have a hybrid delivery model with, of course, in-sourced type of developers in Bizagi, RPA technologies and others, as well as also having sort of like outsourced type of activities with, of course, our valued outsourcing providers.
So these ABBYs, you refer to them also as citizen developers. We are also hearing the term in the market, like they call them business technologists. This bridge between business people and technology. They are not technology experts, but they can interact with technology in order to digitize the processes.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Very, very good. When we look at the pitfalls and the challenges of the project, what would be the main advice you would provide to people? What are the key elements of success here?
I think that the key elements of success definitely are, it's, I mean, of course, paraphrasing one of our customers, valued customers, is like, just do it. So yeah, if you try to get everything ready and you want to have all the prerequisites in place in order to start getting yourself into a digitalization journey, you will never start, because never is the right time, because technologies are perhaps not yet 100% mature, because you will have, of course, to kind of like overcome many challenges. So my position here, and of course the advice to anybody that might be listening here, is, you know, just do it. It's like start. You have to start somewhere, and you start to then advancing little by little. Then go on incremental steps. I mean, don't jump straight into the swimming pool. Also do an assessment of the different technologies. In DHL, we also understand that clearly the answer of the digitalization channel, the answer to the digitalization challenge is going to be answered by a combination of different products. And then, of course, work very closely with those partners. I mean, this is not only just about using one product on the best possible way. It's about thinking how this product also is going to interact with other products. And if you do the right picks in the right areas, you can definitely build on the best of breed, where those products will sit, and you can definitely have your own digitalization platform. I'd wish that would be, let's say, market opportunities, and I wish there would be, I could go to let's say to the market and say, it's like, I want to buy a digital supply chain product, but that doesn't exist. And if anybody just builds something which could fit perfectly to the DHL needs, it might not perfectly fit to the needs of others. And this is why I think that flexibility in terms of like what also technologies that come into the landscape, technologies that also can go out of the landscape, but also understanding that the different technologies compose that landscape that moves forward. I think it's key in terms of looking for that.
So this role of the orchestrator, really using any best of the breed point solution at any moment in time, and being able to replace them as new technologies evolve and appear in the marketplace.
Absolutely, and I think that there has been I would say a before and after let's say the API type of world, where actually those APIs and the communications across the different products, and of course products like Bizagi that can help orchestrate across different platforms, ensuring that there is I would say a master data harmonization and a master data type of governance through the process as a data model. I think it's definitely key.
Okay, and what's next in this journey, Xavi? Where do you want to go next, both from the organizational perspective and technologies that you want to use in this automation journey?
No, I think digitalization just brings for more digitalization. So I think that as soon as the different people start enjoying our new digitalized process, they of course come to us saying, hey, can I have a wave 2? I would like to do this, do that. And I think it's also a matter of the mindset. I think that people, as they started getting more hands-on the digitalization, people also lose a bit, let's say, being afraid of digitalization is a big unknown to many of those organizations. And I think also there is a change in the mindset and there is a change management that is required if you want to be successful on a digitalization journey. Coming forward, I think it's I would say it's more and better. We're going to have more digitalization and better digitalization, definitely changing for good how overall the logistics industry, and especially the global business services area where we're working is actually operating.
And you already have the backup from top management, so the business impact was there.
Yes, I would say, I think definitely, I mean, if you want to endeavor on a transformation journey of such a scale, getting the top management buy-in is absolutely key. And I think that you need to make sure that the top management buy-in actually is also cascaded down to the different layers of the organization. But it's also very important that also the bottom-up feedback also reflects on that. So it's important to also listen very carefully about the individuals, listening from them about the impacts that the digitalization and again, self-steer and self-adjust your directions as you go, because when you start, you will not have all the answers. And but if you wait for having all the answers, you will never start the journey.
Good. So Xavi, what would be the key advice for people embarking in this transformation process?
Mm-hmm. I'd say, I mean, I already referred to that. I think, I mean, definitely you cannot start a journey without starting. So it's like, just do it, start. I don't think that traditional companies or even, let's say, new companies have any choice towards digitalization. Last decade, still, we would be, many of us, I mean, even DHL was, let's say, even doing some initial proof of concepts, what this digitalization is going to be about. I think it's pretty now clear. And even I would even refer to a study of the World Economic Forum that they say that we know that 40% of our jobs would need also to be reskilled due to digitalization and other influencing factors between now and 2030. So that element of change is no longer an option, and I think that needs to happen. The second thing, I also mentioned it, digitalization must be there for a reason, and also you need to keep very clear ideas of where you can actually bring that digitalization and for what. This is not about deploying fancy technologies for the sake of it. This has to have a financial sense. It's about not only the strategic direction of the company and keeping the CEO happy, but also you must keep the CFO happy. There has to be some values. And of course, the valuation can be in terms of like finding efficiencies, but also can be as well as kind of like providing better service to your customers that of course would potentially even increase your top line or your bottom line. And I would say last but not least, I think that digitalization is that very specific element of the organization where IT meets business. And there has been many decades of literatures about this joint approach of IT and this joint approach of this operations saying, no, IT doesn't understand what I need. And IT saying, no, operations cannot get their head round about what they want. They're always changing their requirements. I think that if anything becomes more acute in digitalization, I think that joint team is definitely key. People ask me and my colleagues ask me saying, hey, are you IT? My answer is saying like 50%. Are you operations? My answer is like, well, 50%. So because digitalization teams are exactly that. It's really when business meets IT. And I think those teams, and we could spend hours talking about, of course, also the implications around agile and others and what are really like the best methods for delivering in such an environment. But clearly having that element of IT together with ops is definitely, I would say, one of our learnings and definitely one of the clearly key advices that I would take forward.
Okay. Thank you very much, Xavi.
It has been a real pleasure. Thank you very much, Gustavo, and definitely looking forward to our next steps. Thank you.
Thank you.